5 o'clock and convene our public hearing concerning the Town of Plymouth's fire and police station warrant articles. I'd like to begin tonight's meeting by announcing that the Select Board has actually voted tonight. There have been a number of questions that have come up about purchasing the Johnson property or not purchasing the Johnson property. Tonight we made the decision against purchasing it based on both potential for future development of it as a taxable property and also a lot of the economy of keeping the police station on the property that the town currently owns. The other vote that we had this evening is on building a one-story versus two-story police department. The decision was made to go with the one-story police department, and I'll invite both Keith McVeigh and Chief Temporino to speak to that, but would just like to start out by saying that the difference in the cost of heating one-story versus two-story, though the two-story is slightly more efficient, it would take 76 years to pay off the $100,000 difference that was brought forward last week between the two buildings, and I think 76 years is a long enough time that having a building that works better from an operational perspective and just from the needs of the town perspective makes a lot of sense. So, Keith, would you like to come up and further expand on that, please?
We did take both buildings and did a study comparing the two, the single-story and then the two-story. Our anticipation was that the two-story was going to be significantly more efficient, thinking of the roof area and just the gains that happen there. As we dug into it, what we found was that the roof area indeed was reduced, but the exterior wall surface was such that the calculations came within, on the worst heating day, our calculations were less than 5,500 BTUs per hour. So it appears that coupled with the desire to keep a single-story facility for flow and efficiencies, it looks like the buyout does not make it necessary to pursue the two-story. As far as cooling, we did find that the same situation. The cooling fell very close to one another. In both instances, the two-story option was fractionally more efficient, but the buyout was such that it comes close to exceeding the life of the building. Did you want to talk about budget tonight, or did you want Steve to touch on flow?
I think I'd like to
stay on that subject.
Yes, please. Steve, would you please come up and...
After looking at the two-floor layout, I think the significant thing for us is that it will really change the organizational behavior of our building. Currently, we're on one floor where all the critical functions, whether administration, communication, patrol operations, detectives, all are really within a couple feet of each other. Walk out the door, and we are able to meet with one another quite easily. Same is true with meeting the public. Our current two-story building, it would require the public to come into our lobby. There would either be a telephone call, a waiting period for someone to come down the stairs, have an interaction, or invite somebody into the building. Currently, the public has the most interaction with our administrative office when they come in to look for copies of reports, pay a parking ticket. That whole function is upstairs now in a two-story building. Dramatically changed the way the police department interacts with the community, interacts with the public, and interacts with each other. I can't imagine, because I've never worked in a two-story building, how that will change the culture of our building. One of the things that we did in the last couple of years is as a saving of energy, we removed a lot of the vending machines and a lot of small refrigerators that were in the building. And what that had done is the department had kind of schooled up the little parts. We had people having breaks in different parts of the building. Well, we took out all the vending machines, took out all the refrigerators, and we made a centralized kitchenette. And that's just brought the department much closer together. There's a far more interaction between detectives, between patrol, between communications, and between administration, because now things are more centralized. And it's been a very positive thing for our department. And I hate to break the energy by splitting it up and having the people who work upstairs and people who work downstairs. It would just change the culture of our policing philosophy. And it would change, and I think that would have an impact on how our policing style. We're a small-town police department. We're always going to be a small-town police department. I think putting up multiple floors is the beginning of maybe putting up some barriers to efficient communication. So I think that the one-story facility is probably the best for our needs and will be suit our needs into the distant future.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for either the chief or Mr. McVeigh? Would you like to move on to talk a little bit more about the budget?
Yeah. I see a lot of the same faces tonight. I did bring a handout. That's a scribble-free one. We're still, I think tonight with the choices made on the direction of which way the building will go, we'll continue working on budget-specific items. I've promised the select board a further breakout of building costs. We're used to study square foot numbers and like that, but we maintain a number for a project, police and fire, at $6,844,085. Police portion only $3,304,092, and the fire only at $3,589,634. As stated in previous meetings, that this includes the soft cost portions, including design fees, contingencies, furnishings, and all of the other items that go to make up a turnkey project. So what these budget numbers are a turnkey number. I guess new news, what Val was saying about the direction of the project being solidified, that we'll continue working on refining those numbers in a downward direction best we can.
Any questions? Yes.
Yes, I have a question. I don't believe I got the cost of the bond for the projects. Do you have that information available at this point? If we do one up, we do two, or whatever it may be.
Okay, would you like to address this?
In other words, I'm looking for the per rate per 1,000.
You've got it. One's for 15 years, one's for 20. At 4.5%, what is the... What exactly are you looking for?
The rate per 1,000. In other words, how much would increase the tax rate per 1,000?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, for the first year, with the 15-year for the fire station, the first year is 94 cents. If we went with the 20 year, it would be 85 cents. For the police station, the first year, for 15 years, the first year is 86 cents. With the 20 year, it would be 78, and it does go down every year. it goes down every year after that, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I'd also like to add that we did make the decision to go with 2 warrant articles, a separate warrant article for the fire station and police station. And those will obviously have the dollar amounts included after tonight's meeting, and will be included in the town warrant. Does anyone else have anything further to add? There being nothing further, I'd like to also announce that the, if needed, public hearing that we had scheduled on this subject for this coming Thursday will not be held. We will, once we have more details as we're leading up to town meeting, try and schedule some more informational meetings so that people can see more refined drawings and get more refined costs. But this concludes the actual public hearing portion of the safety building committee's results. Yes?
Well, I've been at most of the meetings, and I do want to thank the board for the diligence that they've done in this project. Most of the time I'm here yelling and screaming, but I appreciate all your efforts and all the work you put into it, and I want to thank you personally for all the work you have done. I think you've done an excellent job of trying to get the cost down to the best it can be gotten. I think the board, the committee that you had set up, have done quite a job as well, and my thanks to them as well. The gentleman over here who put up with us for all the questions we've asked, we really do appreciate the answers that they've given us, even though we might not have liked them all. That's part of the game. That's the way it goes. But anyway, again, thank you very much for all the work you've done.
Well, and thank you for your attendance at all of our meetings and your interest in the process. It's noted and appreciated. All right, having concluded that, concludes our public hearing.